guys, welcome to the podcast studio. My name's Simon, and for this video I just want to talk a little bit about how we can use the green screen to design your own unique background and to kind of brand your podcast and your live stream, making it your own and helping your audience just recognize that it is your podcast and unique in the podcasting world. At the moment, the image behind me is the city that I'm located in. So this is the skyline of Perth, Western Australia. And the image works quite well because there's a lot of front to back depth with it. So we've got the waterline and obviously the cityscape behind us. When I first started looking at using a green screen, I went for really flat images. So this is actually one of the very first ones I went for. And that's a very flat looking brick wall. It works fine. It looks okay, but it does feel like the wall is literally right there behind me. So I felt quite closed in, and maybe the problem was actually the bricks were too big. So we zoomed out on this image. We might actually create a bit more depth and detail because most people know the size of a brick. They've seen a brick wall before. So if you make those bricks a little bit smaller, it gives the illusion that it is a little bit further behind me than what it appears now. If I come back to my main shot, that's the city of Perth once again. I am on a green screen, so this is how the camera sees me. There is nothing there. Again, the green screen's a good couple of meters behind me. And it lets us actually take out whatever is green and add our own image in to the background. So the good thing about these images is it doesn't only locate me in a community as part of a cityscape or give me identity for my podcast, it also has lots of space that we can use for our graphics. So if we're using a downstream key to bring in maybe my name and maybe some other information. So at the moment, I've got my little live bug that shows I'm live on air. There is my logo for my studio here as well. And on this side, my name and what my association is and where I'm coming from. Again, the image doesn't get too cluttered because there is enough space to do that. The background itself is actually coming in on a separate video feed. So the cool thing about this is that you can actually design that video feed to be anything you want. So you could just have a separate computer or a laptop, open up an image, make it full screen, attach it to the video switcher, and that'll be the image that you see. But the other thing you can do is maybe bring them into, say, a PowerPoint presentation. So that gives you a number of full screen slides that you can use to sort of structure your podcast and maybe go through some of the different scenes and topics that you have depending on how your podcast runs. So for example, this is just a quick example I mocked up earlier. So you might start off with a news segment. So you're actually updating people on what's going on, any of the current happenings in the podcast, and maybe what some of the chatter is about online. You might go into having a guest. Maybe it's a pre-recorded interview. You could have them live on the phone in the podcast console, or even video them in through Skype or another method. And then you might have a question and answer segment. So you might have questions from your audience from the previous week. And finally, you might have your like and subscribe page. So it gives you a way of pacing your podcast, going from topic to topic and knowing exactly how your podcast is going, making sure you're on track and that you've covered everything that you've sort of set up beforehand, especially if you're not reading off an auto cue, you're just going off the cuff like I am right now, and just need a few prompts to kind of keep you going in the right direction. Of course, it doesn't need to be the city of Perth, so this is just another image I pulled out. So that's the Toronto skyline in Canada. Again, anyone familiar with Canada who's been to Toronto would instantly recognize that. And all of a sudden, that's actually located me in a different city and given me a different audience and a different association as well. So it's quite simple to do. A PowerPoint presentation gives you the options of just flicking through a few different things. The images can be bought from online places such as Shutterstock and also Pexels, or you can take your own images as well. The only thing to watch out for is that if you are getting online licenses to images, just make sure you've got the right to be able to use it in this context and to be able to broadcast it. Some places will let you download some free photos, but you don't actually get the rights to be able to use them commercially. If you are doing your podcast, you just want to make sure that however you're sourcing your images, you do actually have the full unlimited use, and you can use it inside your podcast, your background images, Instagram posts, and all the other promotion that you might want to do for your podcast. Okay, that's about it for today. Any issues, please feel free to get in touch. The website's down there for you, forensicaudio.com.au podcast studio. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time.